Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a 4-month-old update. This is my daughter Hailee. She just turned 4 months old on June 6th. She currently weighs, she's starting to drool. She currently weighs 12 pounds and 13 ounces according to our hatch scale, which we just weighed her right before this video. It was, she's smiling at the camera. It was right after a feeding, so maybe 4 or 5 of that ounces came from the food, but she's about the 12-pound range. I have my phone right here that we're going to go over some of her milestones and updates and what's been going on. I thought I would do an introduction, so she's going to join me for a little bit and then her daddy's going to take her out. So currently right now she is breastfeeding with some supplementation of formula. The reason for this being is I actually have a low milk supply, and she was starting to lose some weight, and I'll go into that in a little bit more into detail. But I spoke to my pediatrician about this and he recommended that we start supplementing with formula. Alright, so here's Hailee. I'm going to hand her off to her daddy now, and I'm going to walk you through the rest of her milestones. Say bye, baby. Say bye. Say bye. Okay guys, so my daughter is gone. It's just me, and I'm going to go through her 4-month update with you guys and touch base on a couple of her milestones and things that she really likes and loves. And I'm going to talk a little more about the breastfeeding. I did struggle a lot with breastfeeding, and I don't want to delve too much into this, but if you guys want me to make a whole separate video on that, I can. Just let me know in the comments below and I can talk about some of the struggles that we face and how we're overcoming them to continue to breastfeed. Okay, so to talk a little bit about some of the struggles, but not too in detail about what's going on, is essentially I would breastfeed my daughter 15 minutes on both sides, and she would become really fussy and agitated and start hitting and scratching me and just squirming like really bad, and you could tell that she was not happy. So I spoke to her pediatrician after I noticed that she started to have a decline in her weight. Around her 3-month checkup, I noticed that she wasn't growing and she had lost a little bit, like maybe a pound and like a couple ounces, but she had started to decline. So we brought it up with him, and he suggested then that we start supplementing with formula about 2 ounces if I noticed that she was still hungry and showing those cues, which was happening after every feed. So previously, before I would keep her on the breast as long as possible, just let her try and do it, and she would still fight it, and she would still kick, scratch, and punch at me, pull off of the nipple and the breast, and just, it was a really uncomfortable experience. So you could definitely tell she was struggling and she wasn't getting enough to eat. So once we started doing the supplementation recommended by our pediatrician, we started using the, I believe it's Enfamil Neuroproscience, their formula, and we used it in the powder and then liquid, but we started giving 2 ounces after every feed because that's what we noticed. She was still hungry no matter what. It didn't seem like she was ever satisfied. So we'd give her 2 ounces and she definitely seemed happier and more content, but we noticed there were times where she was still, what seemed like she was still hungry, so we started giving her a little more. And currently right now we're going about 2 to 4 ounces of supplementing with formula depending on how she fed on the breast. So if it felt like it was maybe a better feed, we would only give the lower amount. If it was definitely a rough feed where she was fighting it and really fussy, then we went with a little higher, and she seems perfectly fine. We know for sure she's not overeating. Our doctor said to look for signs of that, so if she was overeating, to decrease it, and the sign that he said to look out for was her spitting up. So if she hasn't spit up really, she did one time, and that was definitely when we overfed her a little more than she needed because she had gotten plenty from the breast, but we ended up giving her 4 ounces that day, and it was just a little too much for her tummy. Okay, so that's pretty much what's going on with her growth and her feeding cycles. Let's talk about now her 4-month-old milestones. Okay, so she has pretty good head control at this point. Occasionally her head gets a little wobbly, and rarely if at all. She's also starting to really enjoy tummy time. Prior months she wasn't really into it and she would cry after about 5 minutes, but now she can easily do 10 to 20 minutes with no problem, and she really enjoys it. And partly that is because we like to place toys in front of her, obviously baby safe toys that she can reach at or stare at when she's on her tummy, and I'll show you guys at the end a little bit of those toys that she really likes. She hasn't started rolling yet, but there's a couple times we've caught her where she'll roll on from her tummy to her back on the mat, but she's not actually continuously rolling without that. Right now we are practicing sitting up, so she is using the Boppy, the Propapilla, and we recently started using a baby high chair to practice her sitting up. She's not 100% got that yet. It's still something new. She just hit 4 months old, so we're not in any rush. We're working on it with her in her own pace and her own time. Another one of her milestones is she's starting to sleep longer at night, though she is waking up still anywhere from 1 to 3 times a night, which is a little much, but she is breastfed for the most part with the formula supplementation, and usually at night I tend to not formula feed her but only breastfeed her, which is probably part of the reason why she's still waking up multiple times for feeds. I do plan on trying to nighttime wean her in the future, but for now that's what we are doing, and it's not that big of a deal, but we are going to work on it. We do want to start sleep training her by 5 months. I will try and make a video if you guys are interested in that and like our journey through sleep training. I've heard a lot of great things about the program by, I think it's taking care of babies, and we're going to try out that program. So when she hits 5 months old, I'll let you guys know how that's going, and we'll touch base back then. Just let me know in the comments if that's something that might interest you as well. Okay, so before I end this video, I wanted to share just a couple of her favorite items and things that are going on right now that she really loves. One thing she really loves to do is grasp things with her hands. A few of her favorite items she plays with is this little ball here. She really likes to grasp it and bring it to her mouth and chew on it or like gnaw at it. And then here's a teether from Nuby, which she also really enjoys. She likes to put her hands in it, bring it to her mouth, and do that as well. Some of her other favorite things to put in her mouth and play with are another teether by Nuby. This is the stage 1 teether. And she likes this little ducky, which I got from Target for Easter, and she really enjoys bringing it to her mouth and putting it in. Obviously it's big enough, she's not going to choke. There's no loose parts, it's not dangerous. It is meant for their ages, so it's really good. Another favorite item of hers to play with is just a plain simple burp cloth. We do supervise her, so no, we don't let her like suffocate herself and nothing's going wrong, but she likes to play with it in her hands, and she does like to chew on it and bring it to her mouth, which we let her do so she can explore different textures and feelings. I do have a funny story about this one. That's one of her favorites as well. It is a small paper cup. It's like a 16-ounce cup. We went to a frozen yogurt place and she was not happy. She was really interested though in the cup that I had in my hand. So I asked the lady if we could have one of the cups, and I wiped it down with like a pacifier cleaning wipe. So I sanitized it and I gave it to her, and this is one of her favorite toys to hit, pat, throw, and bring to her mouth as well to chew on. She loves to stand up and bounce. She's got really good control with her legs, so she likes standing and bouncing with her legs and locking them up to where she's standing really tall. She's really enjoying that right now. She also is really enjoying bright, colorful, short books with lots of colors. This is one of her absolute favorites. It's called Our Little Love Bug. And she enjoys the big pictures with all of the bright words and colors. And this is one of her absolute favorites. She smiles every time we turn the page, and she loves it when we read it to her. Another one of her favorite books is Going to Grandma's House. She likes this one as well. This one is a little longer, and it still has those bright colors and lots of things for her to look at. And I have one more other book, which was an Easter book. It was one of the baby books that they had for Easter this year. She really enjoyed that. Also right now she's enjoying babbling and talking back, so she likes it when I sing to her and she'll talk back to me, or if I make funny voices to her, she really enjoys that, and she'll talk back and she'll make cooing noises or gagas and oohs and ahs. It's really cute, but she's enjoying talking and babbling. But her most favorite thing of all, the last but not least, is to be held by her mommy and daddy. She does not like to be put down. She knows it. Whenever we put her down, she has a hissy fit. She doesn't really like to be carried in one of the wraps or in a sling. She just prefers to be held and close tight to me and her daddy. And of course, I can't forget, she also loves her milk. That's her favorite thing. She absolutely loves it. She'll grab at her bottle, pull it to her mouth, and she will eat it all, and then she'll still want more. But those are just some of her favorite things that I wanted to go on. Alright guys, so that is it for Hailee's 4-month-old update. I do plan on making this into a series, and I will be recording more videos like this as she grows, all the way up till 18 months old. If you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe. I post new videos Mondays and Fridays, and like I said, I will see you guys next time for her 5-month-old update. Bye guys!